Welcome back to the channel. Today, craziest inmate stories submitted by healthcare workers at my comedy shows, part 2. I worked as a forensic nurse and had to complete a suspect exam on a very tall man accompanied by 3 police officers. A suspect exam is when a nurse will come in to gather evidence that may or may not link a patient to a crime. In this case, likely a sexual assault crime. One officer told me he is feisty. I explained the exam, and when I showed him the very large swab I was going to use to test for STIs, he yelled, "Nah, you ain't!" So I said, "This is nothing. Wait until I have to pluck out those pubic hairs." He then attempted to get out of the room and was tackled by police officers, held down, while I happily plucked 25 pubic hairs while humming the song from Bad Boys. 25 pubes is oddly specific. Like, is that the recommended quota by forensic nurses? If you want 26, do you need a warrant? Honestly, the real crime was how happy she was doing it. 5 pubes, that's data. 25 pubes, that's personal. She didn't just do her job, she was a pluck above the rest. Had a prisoner who went to the bathroom and came back to the room very anxious. That's never good. The cop watching him was on his phone. Son of a bitch. Stay off your phone, guys. If you're watching inmates, come on. Bad things are about to happen. Patient realized he was getting discharged and instead bolted out the door since his legs weren't shackled because he went to the bathroom and escaped out of our EMS bay to only be found in the college dumpster a few blocks away. Well, he didn't get very far. He had 5 days left but had been off his psych meds for 1 year. This stunt added 5 more years and him going to prison instead of jail. Buddy, what are we doing? I respect the hustle, but next time you gotta plan past run.
I'm not a smart man.
He got 5 blocks and gave up. This is not gonna be a great story to tell the boys back in jail. You had a chance, man. You had a chance. You know what they say, one man's trash is another man's 5-year sentence. No meds, incarceration, college dumpster, America in a nutshell. And the nutshell is on fire.
Guys, I'm gonna tell you guys about one of the worst jobs in the world. It's working at a state prison. I mean, like in the medical side. So I was a CNA at a state prison, and yeah, state prisons, they do hire medical staff from CNA, medical assistant, dental hygienist, x-rays, LVNs, nurses, doctors. Speaking of doctors, so one time at the state prison, there was a psychiatrist that she was always having one-on-one meetings, you know, with this inmate. But guess what? Inmates, they're very good at mental warfare. So this inmate was more of a psychiatrist than her. So the psychiatrist fell in love with this inmate. The inmate ran so much game that they actually got married. So in lieu of her getting terminated, she resigned from her position. They got happily married off after she lost her psychiatry degree, license number, everything. So, and besides, working at state prison, you never get paid on time.
Never fall in love with the inmates. That's the first thing they teach you on orientation when you work for a prison. Happens all the time. You're spending a lot of time in these places. A lot of the inmates, they like to chit chat, and if they get a little too deep in their stories, you may feel a little sympathetic and you may start catching some feelings. So be careful when you work in there. It's a good place to work though. A psychiatrist. Of all healthcare professionals, mind warping a psychiatrist, that is some crazy work. I mean, that level of game needs to be studied. Psychiatrist went in to figure out his mind, left having to figure out a prenup. Psychiatrist went from DSM to DTF real quick. You gotta give it to him, all right? The man's got riz. And bars, behind bars. Somebody get these two a reality TV show. Locked up and locked in. So I married an inmate, the Real Housewives of Cell Block D. Keeping up with the correctionals. America's next top convict. You know what this person needed? Someone to talk to. Someone who won't make them feel bad for bringing the mood down. Someone they don't have to pretend around and can drop the whole "I'm fine, everything's fine" thing. Someone smart, helpful, and kind whose goal is to help them process these types of feelings, like a therapist. The right therapist can make a huge difference in your life, but if it's your first time, it can be hard to know where to start. Luckily, with today's sponsor, Betterhelp, finding a therapist is made easier. Because let's be honest, there's a million reasons why we choose not to when we need to. Therapy is too expensive. I don't have time to find a therapist. It's too hard to find a therapist. I don't know where to start looking, even if I wanted one. Betterhelp is on a mission to make starting therapy easier. Fill out a questionnaire and match with a therapist within as little as a couple of days. Easily switch therapist at any time at no extra cost if it's not the right fit, because going to therapy is a sign of strength, not weakness. Click the link in the description or go to betterhelp.com/Stevio to get 10% off your first month of therapy. After I left the ER, I went to work pre-op at an endoscopy center, hoping for less of the craziness. Pre-op, just pre-operation. Endoscopy is when they stick a tube in your body with a camera to check what's going on in there. One of the most popular ones, colonoscopy. They'll stick a camera tube up your butt to make sure you're all good and functioning. On Fridays, the local prison would bring in inmates for procedures. One of my shackled patients was being extra friendly this particular Friday. About a week later, the manager informed me that I received some mail. Turned out to be a 10-page letter from said inmate where he alternated between professing his love for me and his desire to kill me. That turned dark real fast. The warden immediately came, confiscated the letter, and he had time tacked to his already very lengthy sentence for murdering his girlfriend. How sweet! To whom it may concern, I love you. And I also want to kill you. His love languages are words of affirmation and acts of murder. Can you imagine the prisons on a Friday? Prison guards, it's Friday! Prisoners, yay, Friday! Colonoscopies! Woo-hoo! I think that's probably why he fell in love with his nurse. I mean, you stick something up a guy's ass, how do you expect him not to fall in love with you? It's your fault. This poor guy, already lengthy sentence for murdering his girlfriend. I guess old habits die hard, and so do his exes. When I was a med student, I saw a guy from prison come in for priapism. Priapism is just an erection that won't go away. 2 other female residents were stabilizing his penis while I was driving a needle trying to decompress it. Truly a team building exercise, trying to decompress a penis. How big was this penis? Was it really a 3-person job? Did we need that many hands? I'm no mathematician, but I'm pretty sure 1 hand will do, not 6. Also, having female residents hold the penis isn't helping the boner. If anything, it's making it worse. I mean, people do say, prison time makes you hard.
That's what she said.
Prison tip number 2. So in prison, we don't stand up and pee. The reason being is if you're standing up and peeing, there'll be so much splash and it gets all over the cell, and you're in a cell with another grown man, you know, and you never know who you're in a cell with. I did 14 years and you wouldn't believe, that's another story. What you'll do is you'll straddle the toilet and you'll pull through the side of your shorts and you'll go that way. And that way it's not splashing all over the cell, it's not splashing all over your clothes. Another way that we do it is we'll get down on one.
Is this a prison thing or is this a him thing? What's going on here? Is this real?
One knee or 2 knees, and we'll just go over top, just like this, just like you're peeing. Like I said again, it's not going all over the cell. You ain't gotta clean it up. Pee stinks so bad. Some of them cells are so dirty and so disgusting. First time I saw this, I thought it blew my mind. The dude.
Men will literally invent new ways to pee before they have to clean anything. This is the solution to wiping the toilet seat? Straddle the toilet seat? Reverse cowgirl? All right, I like it. Raise your hand if you're gonna be trying this tonight. Also, am I missing something? Can't he just sit on it normally and just put his junk into the toilet to pee and it doesn't splash? What are we missing here? Correctional nurse here. On a midnight shift, I heard a quiet beeping noise, walked out into the hallway and saw an inmate's bed completely in flames to the ceiling while he was attempting to put it out with his robe. Hold up, inmates get robes? Since when? What kind of prison is this? Jeffrey Epstein's prison? When we went to get him out, he fought us because he couldn't leave his trash can. When your life's on fire, but your priorities are still trash. Even though he denied he was hiding anything in it, there was totally something in it. The next week, I found him dead at the beginning of my shift. Oh, pretty sure there was something in the trash can. There was definitely something in that trash can, probably drugs. I cannot tell you the amount of time patients have come in lighting themselves on fire because they were using drugs irresponsibly. Not saying that this man was on drugs or using drugs, we don't know, but context clues says otherwise. If we want to assume the best out of this man, maybe he just really didn't want us to know that he didn't recycle. Today, my 6'8", 350-pound patient somehow broke out of his restraints. Somehow, he was 6'8" and 350 pounds, that's how. Started running around his room yelling, "My colon is leaking, my colon is leaking." His gown was totally open from the back and he was definitely leaking. He then took off down the hallway with a trail of shit following him. Started screaming, "It's gonna get me," referring to his shit. Proof that you really can't run away from your own shit, can you? Quick medical lesson, the anatomical term would be anus, as in, my anus is leaking. That is all. Carry on. What do you think, guys? I guess we'll call this a code brown? Huh? I know, my puns are shit. Oh! They're honestly crap. Oh! Psych patient in the ED that was nicknamed Picasso. The patient painted the walls of the ED room with lovely pictures using poo as his paint. Honestly, if you ever worked in healthcare long enough, you're gonna get one of these patients. It always happens. I've never had a Picasso, but people say his art is literally the shit. You have to wonder, do the colors change depending on what he has for lunch? Like, I'm sorry, is that warmer palette Taco Tuesday? Okay, Picasso is perfect, but we got some other ones. Vincent van Gogh number 2, Dudu Dali, Leonardo da Vinci, Donatello? All right. Pulling pubic hair to assess responsiveness in a patient faking seizure. Patient faked the seizure so he wouldn't have to go back to jail. This happens all the time. Inmates who come to the ER will fake an injury or a medical condition so they don't have to go back to jail. Because nobody wants to go back to jail. The hospital, compared to jail, probably a lot more comfortable. I have personally had inmates fake seizures so they wouldn't have to go back to jail. I personally have never plucked pubic hairs to see if they were faking it or not. Right? What you normally do is you'll stick a nasopharyngeal airway into the nose, which is just a tube that goes into the nose to help a patient breathe. They'll start fighting back because they're gonna fake a seizure. If you're having your actual seizure, you're not fighting back. There's other things that you could do that don't involve plucking pubic hairs. I don't know what healthcare worker came up with this, but it sounds like nobody's faking a seizure. It sounds like somebody's faking a medical degree. You know what I mean? You think about how many procedures that they actually have to try before landing on this one. Pubic hair 1, fake seizure 0. If you are not an inmate and you are free, please come to a comedy show. I am currently on tour. Ticket links and dates are in my bio. I'll see you soon, motherfuckers. Goodbye.